Okay. Now I have some problems over here which I hope will help you tremendously. So, what do I mean by that? I mean, if you can do all these problems that I come up with over here, or if you can follow everything that I'm going to do over here, you will be able to answer all of the questions that are calculus based in your exam, and which will give you at least I think it's 20 points or 20 marks or something like that. So without further ado, I already solved them over here, but I don't like that system of solving. So I think I can write it down over here and then we can solve it together. In that way, you will remember it better than when I already solved it and then I'm telling you how I solved it. It's easy to forget. Okay. Now, this is what we're going to solve. dy dx or dx or f prime of x. That's what we're solving for. And my f of x now equals to 4x squared minus 5x plus 4. Okay. Now, you can take this one out and start solving. Okay. On this is not that hard. So remember that you want to use your algorithm, which is n times x to the power n minus 1. So these are terms, the ones that are divided by negative or positive. Each and every one is called, I will call it a term. It's called a term. So now, remember that you are going to apply the algorithm to each and every term. Okay, let's continue. So, when we're doing that, f prime of x will be equals to, okay, now, which one is our n? Our n is the exponent that we have over here, which is 2. So, plus, but because we have a 4 over here, when we take down the 2 this side, it has to multiply to the 4. So this is the 2, the exponent that we have. And then we multiply it to the 4 because the 4 was already there. And then we say x to the power, that exponent again, which is the n over here, but now it has to minus what? 1. Minus 1. Okay. And then minus this one now, the exponent is 1. For everything that, every variable that does not have an exponent, we assume that there's a 1. So we take that 1 down, it will multiply the 5, right? And then on the x, we're going to have 1, that is the exponent, minus 1 according to this. Okay, and then plus. This number over here, we call it a constant. Anything that doesn't have a variable, when we began taking a derivative, it's called an exponent. It's called a constant. So a constant, a derivative of a constant, it's equals to 0 because we do not have what? We do not have a variable. We don't have a variable. We don't have an x over here. So we're taking a derivative with respect to x. So now, since this does not have an x, what are we taking a derivative for? So that's called 0. We call it 0. We put a 0 over there. Okay, and then we say equals to 2 times 4 is 8. Then we say x, 2 minus 1 is 1, right? Okay, minus 1 times 5 is 5. and then x to the power 1 minus 1 is x to the power 0. Okay, you don't need to do anything with that 0. Okay, this is equals to, if you remember that I said anything to the power 0 equals to 1. So our answer here will be 8x minus 5. Because if the x to the power 0 is 1, and then 1 times 5, it will give us 5. So our answer is 8x minus 5. Okay, that's the first one. Now the second one, my f of x for the second one equals to x squared over 4 plus 4 over x minus 5. Okay, yeah, I'm supposed to say f of x over here. Okay, that's good. Okay, now, what is f prime of x? Okay, I didn't write anything over here because I wanted us to organize this in a nice way so that we can do calculus on it. At this point, the way it is over here, it's hard to do calculus on it, and it throws a lot of people off when they see a problem like this. They think like, no, that is impossible to solve. No, it is very much possible. You just have to organize it first. So now I would say f of x equals to. So what I would do, I would say x squared over 4 is the same as 1 over 4 times x squared. Okay, now it makes it easy to do a derivative of this. Okay, now let's continue. Plus 4 over x. I will say to you, this is 4 times 1 over x. But if you remember, I said to you in one of the videos over there, 1 over x, let me write it over here. 1 over x is the same as x to the power negative 1. So over here, in order to solve this problem, you will have an x to the power negative 1. And then in that way, it's simplified. And then, okay, minus 5. Okay, now when we're taking a derivative on this one, we say f prime of x equals to. Okay. Now let's do the algorithm. The algorithm is n x to the power negative n to the power. Okay. Let me rewrite this. N times x to the power n minus 1. Okay. So now in solving for that, we would say f prime of x equals to. Okay, we take the 2 down because the 2 is our n over here. That's our exponent. So we say 2 times 1 over 4. And then x to the power, the 2, the exponent. But now it has to minus 1. All right. Okay, and then we'll continue. Plus. Now we're going to have the negative 1. Okay, I will put it on brackets over here and say negative 1 times 4 x to the power negative 1 minus 1. Okay. And then we close the bracket over here. I'm just doing this because there's a positive over here and there's a negative over here. So we'll have to multiply out everything. So now let's go ahead and say, okay, derivative of -5, a derivative with respect to x, dy dx, or f prime of x, of 5 is equals to 0, because I already explained why that is. So I said, like, if you take a derivative of a constant, that would be equals to 0. Okay, and so now we'll continue over here. 2 times 1/4 is the same as 2/4. 2/4, you say 2/4. 2/4 is the same as 1/2. And then x to the power 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, now this one will say positive times negative, it would be negative. Okay, 1 times 4 will be equals to 4. Okay, x to the power -1 minus 1 is -2. Okay, hope you're still following me. Okay, now we want to rationalize our exponent. That is the answer over there, but we want to rationalize our exponents. We do that by taking exponents to where they are going to be positive. So our answer would be x/2. Because we take that x and multiply it by 1 over here, and then it gives us x/2 minus 4 over x squared. Why is that? Because you take the x and put it below the 4 over here, but an exponent, when it goes under the division sign over here, it changes signs. It's positive on this, it's negative on this side, and then it will be positive when it goes below the 4. Okay, and then that will be our answer.